Hello, my name is John Burris, and I've got some really exciting news for you today. I've got this great video. It's called Fascia Holds You Up, the Human Scaffolding. I'll be exploring the relationship of fascia in the body and how it keeps us upright. And I'll be dispelling many myths about how we believe about our body, some of the old anatomy myths. And my hope today is to share with you a paradigm shift about how to take care of our bodies. And in my experience, most of us were taught errant beliefs that are hundreds and thousands of years old, and those are causing problems because our anatomy perception is outdated. And so in today's video, I'll be sharing with you some of these new ideas, some new paradigm shifts, and hopefully it takes you in a brand new direction as you go forward. A lot of these ideas start by exploring how do we learn about our bodies? Where's anatomy coming from? Who's teaching it? What are the institutions involved in this? And is it working? So go back hundreds and thousands of years, we learned our bodies from people cutting up bodies, cadavers, and that started, hundreds and thousands of years ago. Then it really escalated 200 years ago in perhaps basements of London hospitals where they were required, new doctors were required to have a certain amount of cadaver training, and that just escalated. And so we get this belief that the body is a certain way, and as a yoga teacher, body mind therapist, and body worker, I don't see the body the same way as somebody cutting up a cadaver. So our anatomy is hundreds of years old, and I'm going to introduce you to what I've created called New Anatomy, which enlightens you, brings you up to date about how the body really works. And it comes out of the dark ages of anatomy. Unfortunately, in today's culture, in the 21st century, most of us are still practicing dark age anatomy that's so old and so crazy when you stop back and think about it, go, wow, that doesn't make sense at all. So I'll be updating some of our beliefs today and giving you some new information going forward, and hopefully that'll take you in a new direction. So we have to start looking at how we learned about anatomy, when institutions are incorporated in that, and how they're benefiting from false narratives. And we'll be exploring some of that. So one of the core concepts in the exercise fitness industry is that we need to strengthen our back muscles, strengthen our core, our abdominal muscles to hold us upright, to keep our spine upright. That's not true at all. That's not how the body works at all. But that's a narrative that's hundreds and thousands of years old about what's supposed to be happening to keep us safe and healthy and pain-free. That's not true at all. So that narrative is a false narrative that isn't really true at all, because that's not what happens. Your spine does not hold you up. Your spine is not capable of holding you up. But we're taught to believe we need to harden and tighten everything around the spine, and that's supposed to hold us up. That's not true. That's not how the body works at all. So we'll be sharing you a new idea about how it actually works. The problem arises as one person or a group starts an idea. Then it grows and it grows and it becomes groups and it becomes businesses and institutions, and then it becomes, the media takes over, and then it becomes normalized. The medical system takes over, and the government policies take over, and after a while we believe it to be true. But what happens if the original idea weren't true at all, and they've been taking us in the wrong direction for all this time? Well, that's what's happening with the body and with our anatomy and with this core strengthening analogy. We've been going in the wrong directions because it's been institutionalized as normal. And as one bird flies in the wrong direction, many will follow. So that one bird, the back needs to be strengthened, the core needs to be strengthened, has flown in the wrong direction, and millions of people have followed to the detriment of their own body. So in my belief, in my experience, I've worked on over 20,000 bodies over 40 years. I've taught thousands of yoga classes, and I've started this concept called New Anatomy. Your spine does not hold you up. It's a series of bones and cartilage that are stuck together that are held up by the fascia around them. Fascia is the connective tissue that anchors to the bones, and that's what holds you up. And most people, first of all, know little to nothing about fascia, nor do they know how to take care of it. And most of what they're doing, for example, their strength training courses, their gym workouts, they're actually harming their fascia, creating more problems. So we need to look at fascia and its role in the body and its role in holding up. So the fascia is actually the human scaffolding. It's actually the fascia holding us up, And in a better world, people who are more conscious of their body, it's about lengthening and balancing the fascia and not about hardening and tightening the muscles around the spine. Because it's the fascia which is actually holding you upright, like a scaffolding in a building. Fascia can be compared to the white stuff in an orange. If you cut up an orange, you'll have orange liquid and all the white fibers that hold it all together. There's all kinds of white fibers everywhere, and that's what keeps the orange juice contained. Without the white fibers, all the juice would come spilling on the floor. Well, that's the fascia in the body. It goes everywhere in the body, and it contains everything, and it attaches to everything. And the fascia attaches to your bones, and it keeps you balanced and upright. It's not the muscles keeping you upright, so you don't have to tighten the muscles. It's the balanced, healthy fascia attached to the bones that keeps you upright, not muscles. So think about fascia like the white stuff inside an orange. Most of us are taught to believe, because of the anatomy training through medical school, college anatomy, high school anatomy, grade school anatomy, specialized anatomy, even in massage schools and yoga trainings, they still teach your skeleton holds you up. These bones hold you up. And we need to strengthen our core and strengthen our back muscles, whether it be a fitness training you're in, a sports club, an athletic team, physical therapy, Pilates classes. They still teach this old anatomy that's hundreds of years old, that your spine holds you up, and we need to strengthen the core, strengthen the back muscles to keep us upright. That's not true. That's not how the body works. So that's called the block theory, where we're taught to believe that we're a column that needs to be strengthened and hardened. Well, that's not true. That's not how the human body works at all. That's how most buildings are built, where you have gravity pulling down and the columns need to be protected and strengthened to hold the building up. Well, that's not the body. The body doesn't work that way. Yet today's old anatomy teaches you that the human body is a column that needs to be strengthened and hardened, whatever kind of class or training you're doing. Even government policies, you've heard of the President's Council of Physical Fitness. One of the things is push-ups and sit-ups to strengthen the column. It's a false analogy that's hundreds of years old, but we still teach it. It's like we're still teaching the moon is made out of green cheese, or we need to use leeches to cure things. It's old, wrong anatomy, but it's still taught on every level. So we're not a column. Your spine does not hold you up. Your bones don't hold you up. We're much better than that. So once again, here's the spine, a bunch of discs, and there's cartilage between the discs to give them space and length. And your muscles are not holding you up to keep this upright. What's holding you up is the fascia, which is anchored to the bones. And when it's balanced, it keeps you in the right position and it allows you to move. You know what? Columns don't move. They don't move very well. That's why people who harden their core and strengthen their back muscles will shrink. They'll squeeze out the liquid in their disc spaces. Might create arthritic discs because they're compressing their body and squeezing, thinking they're trying to get healthy, but they're doing the exact opposite. Most people who do core work either have continuing back problems, back surgeries, or if they don't feel any pain, they're shrinking because they're compressing their spine. You're leading to back problems because it's a false anatomy story. It's wrong. So here's how the body actually works. Now, I had to go through years of fitness work and sports and hardcore workouts, and it never solved my back problems. It always made it worse. So I've gone through this experience, and I work on many people with back problems. And what's fairly interesting is I get a lot of clients who are medical professionals, emergency room doctors, surgeons, fitness trainers, yoga teachers who have back problems, and they keep doing core work because that's what they're taught. And when I try to tell them that's making it worse, you know, the look on their face is like I just told them that the sky isn't blue, because we're taught it's ingrained into us so much to harden our core, yet most of the time it's actually making things worse. So here's how the body actually works. If this were your spine is being held up by the fascia connected to the spine. The fascia holds you up. It's the scaffolding. And when the fascia is healthy and balanced, it creates perfect space and alignment in your spine. We're a bunch of cables and pulleys holding us upright. Here's another analogy I like to look at here. So here's your spine here. And this is the fascia and muscles outside the spine. So what happens is, when you do core work, let's say this is the front of your body here and the back of your body. When you do core work, you're tightening up the front and you're tightening up the back, and guess what's happening to your spine? You're shrinking. You're shrinking in your spine because you're tightening up the front, the core as people call it. You're tightening up the back muscles, and your spinal vertebrae are actually shrinking and compressing because you believe the body is a column that needs to be tightened and hardened. It's a warrior mentality. Harden and tighten your body, you'll be healthy. It doesn't work. But we keep doing it because we're taught to do it. The media keeps reinforcing this. The government, fitness trainers, sports people, television shows, it's teaching us wrong anatomy. You don't want to tighten things up because all you're doing is compressing your spine. And when you compress it, you're not healing it. Now, all you're doing is containing a compressed system. That's completely not how the body is supposed to work, but that's what most people do. And that's why most people have back injuries and back problems, because they're compressing. So here's a good contrast analogy. Here's what the fitness model is teaching us. We're a column that needs to be strengthened in the front, strengthened in the back, so the column stays hard and tight. Well, that's not how the body really is. That's old anatomy. That's hundreds of years old. That's still being practiced and taught today. Here's what we really are. We're a tensegrity model. Tensegrity is balanced tension. It's actually the tension that holds us up and lifts right. This model doesn't move very well. Tensegrity models do, because the human body is capable of all kinds of movement. When you balance your fascia, which is the scaffolding in the body, you're balancing everything and you're keeping your spine long and lengthy and open, because we're a tensegrity model. We're not a column model. We're taught the wrong anatomy. Here's another analogy I like to use. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see a bunch of construction workers building a brick building. First, they lay a foundation of concrete and steel. And after it dries, they start putting down a layer of mortar. And then they put one brick on top, and then mortar next to it, and then another brick next to it. So there's mortar between the bricks. Then they put another layer of mortar on top of that, and then another brick. And then between that, and then more mortar, and then a brick. So after a while, after the building's done, we throw in some windows and some doors and put a roof on it and plumbing. We walk by and say, wow, look at that brick building. You know, the reality is, it's not really a brick building. It's a mortar building. The bricks are not holding the building up. If you just stack bricks, they're going to blow over the wind. It's actually the mortar holding the bricks up. So the building is held upright by mortar. So the mortar is actually like the fascia in the body. The bricks are like the muscles and bones. The muscles and bones in the body are not holding you up. It's the fascia. In that building, the bricks are not holding you up. It's the mortar holding the building up. And so we should really be calling it a mortar building. So here's a picture of a 3-story brick building. Well, as I just described, well, we probably shouldn't be calling it a brick building at all. It's actually a mortar building. We look at the bricks, but it's actually the mortar, like the fascia in the body, holding us upright. If you take it from an artist's perspective, you have to look at the negative space. And when you look at the negative space, those bricks are not holding the building up. It's actually the mortar holding the building up. So here's a picture of a brick wall. And most people just see the red clay bricks. But look at the white between the bricks. And that's the negative space. And if you looked at the white between the bricks, you say those bricks cannot hold this building up, because it's actually the white, the mortar, the glue that's keeping the bricks together and keeping the building upright. Now also look at how the mortar connects. It doesn't end from one level to another, side to side. The mortar is continuous. surrounding each brick, and it keeps going through that brick wall. That's how the fascia holds us up in the body. It's continuous, holding us upright. So we need to stop thinking about muscles and bones holding us upright. And we need to stop thinking about brick walls as brick walls, because they're actually mortar walls. It's actually the mortar holding up a brick wall and your fascia holding up the human body. The problem is we have so much influence going in the wrong direction. We're still teaching Dark Age anatomy with leeches and all kinds of crazy things because most of our anatomy is so old and outdated, we believe it's true. I mean, I practice gyms, fitness workout, strengthen my core. It not only never solved my back problems, it actually made it worse over time. And the many clients I've seen with back problems, they're going through the same thing, yet most people aren't willing to change because they're so ingrained in this concept because it's been pounded into them by their physical therapist and their medical doctor about what they need to do to protect and cure their back. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, but people won't stop doing it. Or you'll see on social media, all these influencers trying to teach you more core workouts. Or there's a new back machine every day trying to strengthen your core that comes out, or people trying to sell you. It's based on hundreds of years old false narratives on human anatomy. This just doesn't exist. So be wary, because most people are teaching you a wrong idea. Anatomy needs to be updated, and most of us in our institutions are teaching anatomy that's basically based in the Dark Ages, and it's still being taught. So what did I do? I basically stopped going to the gym, stopped doing core work, and I did a lot of yoga. It became my primary exercise system because the yoga was lengthening, softening, warming, and balancing my frame. I was able to elongate and to let my bones soften in between healthy fascia. And the healthier my fascia became, the healthier my structure became, because it's all connected together. Your bones are connected to fascia. You get healthy bones when you have healthy fascia. And so by doing a committed yoga practice 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, I was able to change my frame. I haven't shrunk at all in height, since 8th grade. And most people will shrink as they compress their body and do core work and back work. So for me, it was important to do yoga rather than core work or fitness workouts, because the fitness workouts were based on a false analogy, and the yoga was doing something that was based in nature and based on the fact that I'm a tensegrity model, I'm not a column. And so by shifting my perspective, what took me from black and white to dynamic living color in my own body, freedom of pain, dynamic movement in all my joints, because I shifted my perspective, because I let go of the old anatomy. So the other things I did, regular massages, regular fascia body work, functional movement like Feldenkrais and other things. So those helped as well. But if you keep practicing hardcore fitness routines about strengthening your back muscles, strengthening your core muscles, you're not only following a false analogy, you're actually harming your body over time, because you're causing your fascia and muscles to dry out, your spine to compress, and you're losing functionality in your movements. And I know this might be difficult for many to hear because we've been taught a certain way, and I'm telling you a different way. And so, but it worked for me. That's all I know, and it works for the many people I work with and help heal their journey. It's a dynamic shift in perspective to come and update your anatomy to new anatomy and get out of the old anatomy. And once again, there's a myriad of institutions that are teaching the wrong things, from medical doctors to sports therapists to rehab therapists and to media outlets to online influencers, teaching you the wrong things. They're based in 500-year-old anatomy. So be careful, be wary, because it's taking you in the wrong direction. That's not how the human body was designed. So it worked for me. I know it can work for you, but you have to change how you perceive your body. We're not a column that needs to be strengthened and hardened. Your body's a scaffolding made of fascia, and the fascia needs to be lengthened and balance to hold you up and keep all the pain away. And once again, if you're new to fascia, it's a dynamic part of the body. It's one of the most important parts of the body. And most people know little to nothing about it. Even medical doctors don't know much about it because it's not taught. But the new revolution is here. And join me in this new revolution of leading edge ideas and leading edge material that will transform your life like it's transformed my life. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. You've got to get out of the old models and start a brand new, fresh model. And join this leading edge community of brand new anatomy, and it will shift your life and change your life. So thank you for watching this video today about the scaffolding of the body and the fascia, how fascia holds you up. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can visit me at my website, johnburris.com. Please subscribe to this channel because it helps in my expansion of letting the information out there to people. I also have a wonderful book called Return to Nature, The 5 Pillars of Healing. It has all kinds of great ideas in it. So thank you for viewing. Have a great day.